From Blaster, the idiot savant of comedy, often crude, always lewd, rarely rude, Smokey Daze Haze. I'm Smokey Daze Haze, the Hayabusa plague bearer. Curing the plague comedy has become, and you're not. The funniest there was, the funniest there is, the funniest there ever will be. The dank phoenix of comedy. Whether you laugh or don't laugh, learn to laugh, as I'm the funniest person going today. Pour glass, mow grass, get gas, puff puff pass, inhale, chug a glass to getting ass, grab organic red wine, it's time for Blaze Bit 14, Drink and Drown, DAD or D&D. Drink and Drown was this Commodore game where you had to go to like 3 bars and you had to drink all these drinks, and usually the max you have is like 14, even if you lied about your weight and said you were like 200, 300 pounds. And you get a score based on various things you do. There's like a super swear word. And there were different things you do, like, oh, you see this, you do this, you see pretzels, you eat this, do you do that? And then depending what you drink, you could get like points, and there were secret like bar things, and it was a pretty cool game, and then you could start puking and stuff. So it makes me think of people trying to get to outdrink me, because I could really drink a lot, but I didn't like to drink. You know, that wasn't really my thing, because what would I end up like? So these people try to, you know, outdrink me and keep pace drinking with me. So my crazy friend's sister, like Tracy, would be punching guys in the mouth. We always got along, so that was good. You know what? You don't want to get into a fight with her, so it's good. But she bought me drinks and stuff like this. So this kid they knew, Shaman, he tried to, you know, keep up drinking with me, because, you know, he thought I was bullshit. So he kept buying me drinks, and he's trying to drink and get me drinks. So I had like 14 Long Island iced teas, along with like 3 Alabama Slammers. Tracy takes me to like 2 other bars, buys me like another 2 Alabama Slammers and some drinks. The guy was like driving us, Colin's her brother, would get wasted and be like, you're a piece of shit. Do you know that? You're a piece of shit. So, like people that we'd be hanging out with all night and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like, what is this guy going to get into a fight or something like that? He wanted to fight me over a wrestling game once, like WCW World Tour, something like that. So it's like pretty funny. So once, one of the bars that we're in, this guy's sort of like looking at me, comes up to me and he says something like, he remembers me. You know, we'll call this one Ducky, Donald, Daffy Duck, Howard the Duck. So it's like he comes up to me and he says, so I'm thinking, uh-oh, you know. So I'm like, do you remember me in a good way or a bad? And the kid's like, yo man, I remember you in like a good way. So it's pretty funny. So the kid, Shameless Irish Springs, Shaman ends up like projectile vomiting. I heard even like hitting like the ceiling with vomit. So he was gone, I was still drinking. So hey, you know what? You can't keep up with me, Shaman, what can I say? Sunny Night of Delight with vodka. So this one time, I went to this party, I'm drinking, and they ran out of orange juice. So I'm like drinking, so I'm like, Sunny Delight's close enough, right? Well, it's bad choice, bad choice. So the Sunny Delight didn't quite work out. So I'm like, I know I'm going to start throwing up. And I tell this kid, like, Connell, who I was kind of friends with, I'm like, yo man, just make sure nobody fucks with me. So I was like throwing up, I ended up at my King's hat. I got my King's hat back like the next day. They hosed it up for me, and it was like in a plastic bag. I still have it somewhere. So the only other time that I threw up drinking was drinking with Snapper Mike. Like I had this dog, Callie, and I was like taking care of it because my friend was like in the wacko wood. So I was like really upset. I had to, you know, I gave the dog back and everything. So we drank like a bottle of like vodka in like 30 minutes for like an hour. I don't think it was Stolichnaya. I think it was like absolute, not even Absolute. It was like Smirnoff, so it was alright. So anyways, I did some tuxedo mask, drinking at bridal expos. So I was doing some bridal expos as like a tuxedo model. So I'm in there, the first one I did, I must have drank like 14 glasses of Zinfandel. I think it was the first time I really drank wine. So I'm like just chugging them. So I thought they were like 1% alcohol, because you know, they're pretty sweet. You put them down pretty good. And I'm doing like the freaking thing where I'm walking with the girls and stuff, like the, you know, the show, the fashion show and everything. So it's pretty funny, you know. But hey, a few other times I had Pinot Grigio. It was pretty cool. So get that girl, fucking getting screwed at Bob's party. His sister pre-mixed like the drinks. So I'm drinking this, and I'm drinking. I'm like, wow, man, I'm getting pretty buzzed because I'm making screwdrivers. And then she mentions she already made with the orange juice. She already put the friggin' alcohol within with the orange juice. And I was playing this video game like Get This Girl, and Bob didn't have it registered. So no matter what you did, you couldn't win the girl. Like either you get her or she gets naked. It's like one of those stupid type of games. So anyways, her ex-boyfriend, we'll call him Papa Stew. He's making drinks or food, like he'd be jerking off in it and peeing the fries and stuff like that. And he worked at a few of the bars we went to, supposedly. So you know what? X's not O's. Let's go, Mets go. So Metzler dated Tracy Collins' sister, and like this kid, we'll call him Danzig Sports because he was kind of big. So Collins got into an argument with, like, sticking up for him in a bar. So he like throws him out of the bar. So then it's like really desolate. And all of a sudden, like, he drives up on him, and he goes to Collins like, "Get on your knees and beg for your life." And like he beats the shit out of Collins. Collins was scared. He claimed he thought he had a shotgun, so he was already lost. So it's like he beats the shit out of him, and they're like, you know, and he's like, "Hey, Collins, are you still alive?" He's like, "I didn't hear no bell." So like beats him up again and shit. So he drives off, and he had like, you know, he's on probation. So Collins gave like a fake name to the hospital and shit, but he didn't know that. And like his mother called him up. He's like, "Are you gonna beg for your life now?" So Collins is pretty good at getting beat up because he got like $1,700 from that. Around 2 years later, Collins tried to fight him. And he's like, "Yo, I'm not that person anymore. I don't do that anymore." So Long Island Cab are related to pulverizing meat. Collins getting beat by Mets fans. He's like in this cab and he starts mouthing off to him. He's like, "Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Benny Akbayani, it's all the same. It's all the same." He's during the Subway Series and they're beating him up. And he's like, "Conan 4, Conan 4, Conan 4, and they're like beating the shit out of him. So then Judge Judy contacted him. He almost got on the show. They didn't want to go on the show because they knew he'd get paid no matter what happened. They don't want to look bad, but it's pretty funny because they even paid his cab fare and they just left him in the street. So you know what? Speaking of getting shit-faced, this kid Matt Hochstrasser, when I was in high school, he's hanging out, he couldn't drink, but he always tried to drink. So he gets into my blackberry brandy, and he's fucking puking on my lawn. I had to hose him off, and he's like running on in his fucking underwear. I had to chase him down, because his grandmother was coming. I run after him, and I caught him even though he was on his underwear. So it was pretty funny. This other time I'm with this dude, Pat, and he's like, "Oh, I'm uncoordinated, I can't drive." He's like, we got pulled over by the cops, and we just went to Dairy Bar. There's like 15 loaves of Italian bread, probably 12 by then. A few garlic breads, you know. We're eating all this Italian bread. They didn't realize that we just grabbed the Italian bread from the friggin' place, so it's pretty funny. It's like Dan Jack's Kangaroo, Ray, my drunk Irish cousin. He'd be coming to my Little League. She's like, "I love you, man, blah, blah, blah." He nearly starts a fight with my coach and shit. He'd be in the outfield and stuff. It's just like Squeaky coming from left field. Denise, my first girlfriend, she'd be calling me from like all these parties. This is the pre-cell phone era. So then I'd be talking to this guy like, "Yo, this guy's like so drunk, this girl's so drunk." So it's pretty funny. But you know what? 90s reality, you grab the keys, people drinking at parties by force. So this kid, Saran, it's like, "Dude, we're thinking about rushing Mike, follow for his keys and stuff." And I'm, dude, that's crazy, you guys are going to get beat down. He's like, "Well, at least you could say you tried." But I'm like, even if you tackle him and you're sitting on him, at some point he's going to get up and then there's going to be trouble. So I'm like, "Dude, just take something off his car so it doesn't work or whatever." It's like this other dude, call waiting, he was like this real asshole. He'd get drunk and they'd start fighting with these girls because they were dressed kind of hoodie. He's like, "You're white, go home, live with it." And then one day he nearly started the fight with this alcoholic Dave Fox. And it was like so crazy because he would have gotten beat up because he's supposedly a black belt. I should have let it happen. But you know what? I'm like his friend, I guess, at the time. But not even that. You know, you just don't want this shit to happen. So, man, you know what? Drink and drown never works out. And remember, when it's rolled and when it's dank, Smokey Daze Haze can possess you. When it's rolled and when it's dank, Smokey Daze Haze can obsess you. And thank you everybody for sticking around. And remember, you know, don't drink. Drinking's bad for you. Well, I guess you could drink water or something like that. But yeah, thank you very much. Thanks. Take care.